So welcome to this webinar or presentation about the Master of Business Psychology from the University of Newcastle. My name is Emina Subasic. I am the program convener of the Master of Business Psychology, and I look forward to sharing some of the information about the program with you today. So what I'm going to do is talk about the program, its various aspects, including some details around admission and prerequisites and so on, and then take questions at the end. If you do have something that you would like to raise or something's unclear as I'm speaking, there is not that many of us in the room, so just let me know. Just unmute yourself. You should be able to do that and let me know. Otherwise, type it in the chat function. Just to let you know, because I have the full screen mode at the moment, I can really only see my screen and I'm talking to my computer, which is a little bit odd. So I can't see the chat at the same time as I'm speaking. I might pause now and then and just check the chat box so that I can make sure there aren't any questions there as I'm talking. Otherwise, I'll keep going. And yeah, as I said, feel free to unmute and just let me know if you'd like to know more about something or if anything's unclear. Okay, so welcome to the session. And let's find out a little bit more about this program. So first of all, what I wanted to do is tell you a little bit about the University of Newcastle. You may not be very familiar with it, or you may have gone to University of Newcastle yourself. So it's a highly ranked university in the world and within Australia. So we are ranked around 200 or so in the world. When I first joined the university in 2014, I think we were in the top 300. So we're definitely edging our way up towards the 200 mark in the world, which is very exciting. We are in the top 10 in Australia, and we also have a number of disciplines, including psychology, my discipline, which are ranked in the top 200 in the world, as well as we are ranked 45th for impact by the United Nations sort of measures around sustainability and impact sort of on our community and so on. So it's a very engaged, vibrant, very sort of interactive, community-focused university. Okay, a little bit about our school, the School of Psychology. So we are located in the Faculty of Science. The university has 5 faculties. Faculty of Science is one of them, and we are one of the schools within that faculty. We have been ranked #1 in Australia for the teaching quality and overall educational experience in psychology, which we're very proud of. This is by the Quality Indicators for Teaching and Learning 2020. About 95% of our students are employed within 4 months of graduating, so we're very proud of our record of being able to provide our students with skills and knowledge that's readily applicable in the workplace. As I mentioned earlier, around top 200 in the world for psychology, and also in the latest Excellence in Research Australia evaluation, which is conducted every 5 years, and the most recent one was in 2019. The School of Psychology was ranked as 5 out of 5 for psychology and cognitive science, and that's something we're very proud of. Only a couple of schools in the whole country received that very high score for the quality of our research. So not only do we have competent teachers, we also have an excellent research record within our school. Okay, so I will now give you some detail about the program itself. So the program sits within the School of Psychology and is one of 3 postgraduate programs that we offer. We also offer a program called Master of Clinical Psychology, obviously training our students to become clinical psychologists, and Master of Professional Psychology, which is for students who would like to become registered psychologists. And then Master of Business Psychology is an offering designed both for psychology graduates, but also for people who are from non-psychology backgrounds. And I think that's a unique feature of this program. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. This program, let's just check. I'm just curious about the chat function, if anything has sort of come up there. So I'm just going to make sure that that's all going okay. All right, no problem. So the program itself, sorry, I've skipped ahead. Technology takes about 2 years to complete full time, but this really depends on your background. So for people who have done a lot of psychology within the undergraduate degree, or who have a psychology degree, you may be able to get recognition of prior learning and do fewer courses, and therefore the program would take a shorter time to complete, and I'll tell you more about that as well. But for someone who hasn't done psychology and who will be doing all of our courses, it will take 2 years to complete. It's offered both online and also from next semester, it's offered face-to-face on campus in Newcastle. We have intakes throughout the year, so applications are open throughout the year. And we have about 4 points in the year where the applications are assessed. So it's like a rolling enrollment to make it very flexible for people. The fees, which are only indicative, again, it depends on how many courses you're doing per year, are about $26,000 for domestic students and about $41,000 for international students. So just some very basic details about the program. As we go along, I'll provide some links for you, and if you're interested, I can send this presentation to you with all the links to the various places on the university website where you can find this information as well. So this program has been in existence since about 2013, and it's a highly successful online learning program in this format. I joined the program in 2014, so I've been in this program since its early days, and I have been program convener from this year, so I'm a little bit new in this role. And so we've been existing online for a long time, and it's highly successful. We have about 200 students in our online cohort. And then from semester 2020, we are also offering this program in an on-campus modality at our Callahan campus. And we also are discussing some future plans to offer this program in Sydney, at our campus in Sydney. So as I mentioned earlier, a unique feature of this program is that it's open to graduates from disciplines other than psychology. So it's really designed to equip people with knowledge and skills from psychology that apply to the workplace. So it's not accredited with the Australian Psychological Accreditation Council, or APAC. You will not be able to call yourself a psychologist at the end of this particular 2-year degree. We are not designed to offer that. What we are designed to do is to offer people an additional set of skills and knowledge of psychology that's most relevant to the workplace context and to organizations. So really the focus for us is on enhancing our students' people management and team management skills to enable better performance and well-being outcomes for individuals, teams, and organizations. And I'm going to tell you a bit more about what we mean by that. So in the Master of Business Psychology, really what we're trying to offer is in-depth knowledge of human psychology as applied to the workplace. And often what this boils down to is really understanding people's behavior and also how that behavior can be changed. And these are some of the key challenges in organizations, understanding why people do what they do and how we can shift that behavior to better align with particular goals and objectives. Our teaching staff are world-leading researchers in areas of social, personality, and organizational psychology. And for this reason, we have capacity to cover both individual and group and intergroup dynamics. And what I mean by that is often in organizational psychology, if you're familiar with that field, the focus is very much on, relationships, with a single person or perhaps a small team of people. And the emphasis may be on understanding individual level motivation or performance or behavior. Whereas because we have researchers working across these fields, we can address not only that individual level perspective, which of course is absolutely crucial, but we can also speak to a different level of performance and functioning, which is much more to do with how groups of people function together, which can't be boiled down to, individual plus individual plus individual level psychology. It really has this emergent property, which is something unique, I think, because we have a strong social organizational psychology as well as personality team of people. We really offer quite a multifaceted perspective on sort of the whole of organization functioning. We cover a range of topics. Some of them are to do with this individual level processes, and some of them are to do with very practical skills that our students might need in the workplace. And then others are to do with broad, more higher level dynamics like leadership and organizational change and so on. So I've listed some of the topics here. So we cover things like individual and team performance, motivation, well-being, leadership, organizational change, negotiation and conflict management, psychological assessment and interviewing in the context of job selection, and so on and so forth. So just to illustrate a little bit more as to what we do, here is a list of core courses that we offer within our school. So as you'll see in a minute, what students complete is a combination of courses offered by our school, the School of Psychology, and this is what they are. And then we also direct students to complete some additional unit with the Graduate School of Business, which is a part of Faculty of Business and Law. And we also have some additional research courses that we offer within our school as well. So the core courses are the courses, obviously, as the name suggests, that all of our students complete. Now, you will either complete all 8 of these courses if you don't have a psychology qualification already or a psychology degree already. And the reason for that is that we'd like you to complete these 2 courses first, which give you some foundations in psychology, and typically students do that in the first semester of their enrollment. And because we offer these courses, we are then confident that you can work through the rest of the material, which is more in-depth and more advanced psychology content as you progress through the program. So this enables us to work with students who are both from psychology and non-psychology backgrounds. So just some examples here. So obviously the foundational courses, and then psychology skills in the workplace, fostering healthy organizations, understanding people in organizations. So that's very much about sort of that behavior aspect. Leadership and organizational change is a course that I manage. I'm the convener in that course, as well as group dynamics in organizations. And workplace assessment and interviewing. So these 3 courses I'm responsible for, and then my colleagues within the school are taking the other courses on this list. So some of them, as I said, are more about the higher level functioning, the group dynamics, leadership, strategic direction, and others are more about practical skills that you might need. And where psychology comes to inform those, as well as things like people's well-being, employee well-being, organizational functioning, and understanding people in organizations. And then we direct students, as I said, to complete a number of courses from the Graduate School of Business. And you don't complete all of these, depending again on recognition of prior learning and what you have studied before you're enrolled in the program. You complete either 60, 40, or 20 units. And it's really up to you which units may be appealing to you and which may be complementing nicely what you already know, what you would like to learn. So these are the so-called directed courses. And then finally, typically students can also complete a couple of courses which are purely electives. That's what they would like to choose from other postgraduate offerings within the university. So as you can see, some highly relevant subjects here from the Graduate School of Business as well, including managing under uncertainty, managing human resources in international organizations, entrepreneurship and innovation, human resource and organizational development, project planning and management. So they're much more hands-on, practical skills that you might find useful in the business context. I also wanted to flag this subject sort of at the bottom of the list. We have a new research pathway that we offer from next semester as well. And this is for our students who would like to complement this coursework program with a research component. So at the moment, only one of these courses is listed online. The next one starts in 2021. So there are 2 courses that comprise the research pathway. So you would start in one semester and then continue in the following semester. And because the next course is in 2021, is currently not listed on the website. So it's a very new initiative, and I'm happy to tell you more about it if you're curious. It's just that we found that a lot of our students really would like to delve a little bit deeper and do a research project on the topic of interest. And we thought we would offer a couple of courses where they can do that under a supervision of a research supervisor and effectively complete a small research project and write a small thesis or a small a piece of writing about a research report about that project. So again, if you want to know more, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, so this is a way to summarize different pathways depending on how you have arrived to this program and what your undergraduate degree might be. So here are the different kinds of backgrounds we typically see. So if you have an equivalent to a 3-year bachelor degree in a discipline other than psychology, then you would typically complete all of the units that are available within the program, which is 160 units. And this would take you 2 years to complete full-time or part-time equivalent. If you have a 3 years bachelor's degree in psychology or cognate discipline, then you typically, we grant you about 40 units or 4 courses of recognition of prior learning. And typically students who have a 3-year bachelor's degree would complete 120 units or about 12 courses. So they would complete 6 of our core courses. They don't need to complete the foundational courses because they have a psychology degree. And they would also complete a number of directed courses, and it would take about 1.5 years to do that. Then we have people who have a 4-year bachelor's degree in a discipline other than psychology. They would be in a similar position, completing about 120 units, but they would need to complete foundational units within our core offerings, as well as the other core courses, because they don't have a degree in psychology. And then if you're someone who has a 4-year bachelor's degree in psychology, that typically involves an honors year in psychology as well. It can be a very quick journey for you. You can complete 80 units within the program, which typically comprises 6 of those core courses, so no foundational courses, and then a couple of directed courses from the Graduate School of Business as well. I hope that makes sense. Let me just quickly check that you guys don't have any questions in the chat session. Okay, I can't see any questions there, so that's good. And if you would like more information about any of this, I'm happy to email you this presentation, and these links are all live, and you can either look on our website or email our program advisors to discuss your individual case. All of our students will have a different, different background. You might have completed a degree that's quite similar to psychology, perhaps social work or similar degrees, or HR management type qualifications and so on. Then we can discuss what recognition of prior learning can take place. Okay. And really the final thing I wanted to talk about is the nature of our students and their career pathways. So I've been with the program, as I said earlier, for about 7 years now. And through that time, I have developed sort of a good sense of the kinds of students that we have. So we have 2 broad categories of students, and I think that's also reflected in the information I've just given you. Some of our students are psychology graduates, and then some of our students are not from psychology. They have a different kind of background. And I actually think they're sort of evenly split. So we have a very large cohort of students who are not from psychology background, and also a large cohort who are from psychology. So in terms of the psychology graduates who come to us, there are 2 broad groups of people. So we have registered psychologists who join our program to get some additional training in organizational and social psychology. So they may have gone through the undergraduate degree and they may not have been exposed to a lot of these ideas, and they might be practicing as clinical psychologists or in another sort of counseling role perhaps, and now they have an opportunity to move into a leadership or a management role, and they realize that they would benefit from some of this knowledge. So they join our program to, I guess, to pick up these skills around psychology for organizations. And then the second group of psychology graduates are recent graduates, so students who are exiting an undergraduate degree and would like to gain some further knowledge and some further skills in organizational and social psychology. So they might have been exposed to some of this content, and they want to learn more. They often seek to use their degree to enter sort of HR management, consultancy roles perhaps, maybe dealing with organizational change or employee engagement, diversity and inclusion, those kinds of positions. And they realize that they can build on their psychology degree straightforwardly to gain some more relevant knowledge and skills that it's applicable to organizational contexts. When it comes to students who are not psychology graduates, they typically fall into sort of three broad categories. So we have a large number of HR management practitioners, and for them what we offer is a psychological perspective. So, you know, for them, they would have covered a lot of the content that you would have seen in the Graduate School of Business courses I just showed you. But they want a psychological perspective. So they would get a reasonable level of recognition for prior learning for that aspect of their qualifications. And then they would complete the core courses of psychology to gain that psychological perspective. So often this is required, or they come to us because they find themselves having to manage complex organizational dynamics or processes such as developing a new strategy or managing a change project. They find themselves in roles that require these kinds of skills. So we offer that perspective from psychology, which can be helpful. We then also have people who have their own businesses or are leaders in the business, and for them it's part of their professional development to develop and to pick up these more applied skills from psychology, simply to help them develop a more effective business practice and to perhaps engage their employees more effectively. And then finally, we also have people who are in professional roles and they would like to achieve some kind of pivot in terms of their career. So psychology for them is seen as important new set of skills that allows them that shift. So for example, they might be moving from a frontline delivery kind of role. For example, we have a number of teachers who are moving from a classroom position into a leadership or policy position within the education department, for example. And for them, this is a set of skills that, you know, having to manage a larger team of people, having to set a strategic direction, understanding, you know, how different parts of the organization come together and how motivation works, and these kinds of skills come to be very useful for them as well. So these are the three groups then: people who are already in HR and management but want some more psychology, people who own a business or are in a leadership position, and this is a set of skills that they might find helpful there, and then people seeking a professional career change. I'm happy to speak more to any of this, or if you have further questions, of course, about the program and also our students and how it all works. This final slide really is just some practical things that if you want me to email you the presentation, you can just click on and find out more information about everything I've talked about here today. One thing I did want to point out is that these are the upcoming deadlines. So the semester 2 application deadline is the 19th of July 2020, and trimester 3 deadline is the 9th of August. We will take applications for either of those. The reason why we have both semesters and trimesters is that our School of Psychology runs on the semester system and the Graduate School of Business runs on the trimester system. So there's slightly different sort of structures in terms of how they run, but it's all very smooth, and we have managed the system that it all works seamlessly for students. So don't worry about that, but these are just some dates to keep in mind if you're considering applying for in the next couple of months or so. I've provided you with the psychology, Master of Psychology website. There's a list of courses there that you will be studying, just like I've shown you earlier. Program advisors are extremely helpful for you to talk to discuss your individual circumstances, and they really are on top of all the admission criteria and the rules and so on and so forth. This is the School of Psychology website here as well, and then if you want to know more about me or get in touch with me, there are some details there as well. Okay, just in case it's of interest, we also have international student support, and that's provided here. And if you're interested in a higher degree at the University of Newcastle, we have some information for that as well. And also just let me know as well, and I'm happy to provide further information on those 2 points.